What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We're back in the garage today working on the RX-7. In the last video we got everything completed in the rear end. All the brakes bled, brakes on, exhaust on, everything's done. The only thing I have to do actually is put fluid in the rear diff, but I have that here. Do that when the car's on the ground. So today we're gonna fire the car up for the first time since we put it in the garage like 2 years ago. So hopefully we have no leaks in the fuel system. I'm assuming the exhaust is going to leak, the connections where everything connected. I bought new gaskets for everything, but it's not, they were not clean. They're pitted, gross, rusted away, whatever. If I have to, I'll make a new exhaust for it. I'm not that worried about it at the current moment, but I got to make sure the fuel system doesn't leak. And if it does, we have to address that. If those fittings that we put on a few videos ago, if they leak, then I have to order new fittings. So let's put a battery in it. I've had a battery charging for a while now. Let's put a battery in it, turn the ignition on, and let's see if we have any leaks. So I'm not hearing the fuel pump turn on when I turn the ignition on. And I know this fuel pump works because I tested it before installing it. So I don't know what the problem is. I don't know. Let's dig into it and see if we can't figure it out. Okay, so after a little bit of digging, I determined that there's no power going back to the fuel pump. I can turn the fuel pump on manually with my power probe and it turns on, I can hear it and everything, but when I test the wires at the plug, when the ignition's on, there's no power going to the back. I don't know, I'm pretty sure these cars just prime normally. I don't think that like you have to be turning it over for it to send fuel. I have no idea. I don't think so, but I don't know, maybe I'll try that. So after a little bit of diagnosis, I've come to the realization that I have no idea how these fuel systems work, and the fuel pump does not turn on with just the key. I did bypass it with the yellow plug and it turned on fine. So it doesn't look like any of the fuel lines are leaking. I'm going to take a look underneath just to be sure. And if that's the case, we're gonna try and start it. From what I can see, there's no leaks. And I did prime the system with my power probe and I bypassed that switch and nothing seems to be leaking. This drain was leaking when I first put fuel in it, but I just cranked it down some more and it stopped. All right, so let's get the car put back on the ground and let's fire it up. So the e-brake is on, so the car ain't just gonna roll off. Get all these old lines in my power probe out of the way. All right, let's pull the jack stands out. Ooh. Scary. It does smell like fuel under there though, like pretty badly. I hope nothing's leaking. All right, first time the car's been back on all four wheels in about 2 years. E-brake is on and it is working, so. Ooh, that was a little quick. Car's back on its wheels. All right, I did look a little further because I could smell fuel and she's leaking underneath there. All right, I gotta figure out what exactly is leaking. Okay, we cranked everything down a little bit more. I checked it with the power probe and it's all dry. Maybe I should double check the rest of the fittings. Okay, I checked all the fittings except on the fuel filter, but I got those ones pretty tight. Checked all the other fittings, they're all tight now, so now we're gonna try and start the car. Fingers crossed, she fires up, no issues. Let's try starting it. I have to go in through the passenger side because the driver's side, there's not enough room. There's not really enough room on this side either, but whatever. Okay, we're in neutral. Well, she was running, and she died. All right. She fired up. That's awesome. Okay, now we gotta figure out why it died. So I don't know for sure, but I think it might have something to do with this right here, down there. Because I pulled this out of an automatic car. I don't know if they make a difference between cars. Mine is right down there. Came out of this car, so I might try and put that back in and see if it fixes it. All right, I replaced it. I'm just gonna leave the airbox off for the time being. Try and fire it up and see if that was the cause of the problem. Where's my key? Still doing it. Okay, so I can't really figure out what's wrong with it right this second. And I'm pretty sure I flooded it trying. So I think it might need a fuel pump. It sounds kind of weak and whatnot, and I did pull it out of another used car. So I'm gonna order a fuel pump for it. We'll replace that. And I'll go from there and see if that changes anything. I'll probably do spark plugs too. And then it also needs an oil change, but I can do that later. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it for tonight, come back to it tomorrow. It's getting pretty late, still have to make dinner, all that fun stuff. So I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, we're back in the garage. It's been a couple days. I had to wait for the fuel pump to show up. It was on a transfer through one of the companies that we deal with, so I didn't get it for a couple days. But I went with the Deechworks 200. It's got a 255 flow rate at 40 pounds, so you know, should be good. And it's should be good enough if we decide to turbo the car too, as long as we're not going too high a boost, which the state of this car, I wouldn't be going too high of boost anyways. We just a little bit of boost. All right, so let's get the old fuel pump out and we'll get this one put in. I also pulled my intake back out because I read a lot of things about this thing and the flap inside sticking or whatever, but mine's very, very free. There's no binding or anything in there, no mouse house, no nothing like that. So that I don't think is the cause of the issue. So we're just going to do the fuel pump, and I also got spark plugs. We'll throw those in as well.